Okay, so good evening. Welcome to the first of the three series of the topic friend or friend star. Technically speaking, in Chinese, the friend star is called 比肩, which is actually means shoulder to shoulder. So the word friend star maybe can be a wrong English translation. You may also consider that instead of the word friend star, which today we will call it the friend star, can also mean your peer or your colleague into one part. Therefore, we'll just consider that the friend star is the very easy one. Now, before I proceed on, let us just do a bit of a recap to where we start off in the first part. I launched the first series with 7 killing. So I launched it with 7 killing. So 7 killing represents the opposite element to the day master. So if your day master is pink fire, the yang fire, if it is a yang fire, 7 killing will be a yin. So it's opposite element. And 7K is the element that controls the day master. Controls the day master. So 7 killing is an aggressive star. 7 killing believes in strength. So therefore, the philosophy of the 7 killing is that power is strength. Power is might. Therefore, 7 Killing's philosophy is about the show of strength, the show of the bargaining power that each of us must have. And so, to make a meaning out of this life, the 7K believes in being aggressive, being able to pursue your goals in life. So, that's what the 7K holds as a personality, as it is. And 7K produces, or water produces wood. And therefore, if it is a yin, it will produce a yang, and that yang will then be known as a direct resource. So direct resource is the element that produces the day master. Direct resource is the mother, and direct resource to a direct resource power is knowledge. So knowledge is power. So the more you know, the more you learn, the better you are in being educated. So education is important, knowledge is important, application of science is important. So here when we look into direct resource, we look into the use of knowledge, and of course the representation of the mother also comes in. So the more direct resource that you are, in a way, a direct resource represents revenue. So when doing business, when you see direct resource, you mean revenue that comes from your core business. That is direct resource, direct income, as it is. So we measure that. While 7K represents your leverage. It represents leverage. It represents indirect source of funding. If you borrow money from the alongs, the loan sharks, that will be leverage, that will be debt. So therefore, 7K represents debt, high yield debt for a company to leverage on. All right, so therefore, that is what it means when you look into the accounting perspective, the business perspective of those elements. And so now, next to our journey, we'll look into direct resource producing the day master. And so the day master, the easiest of the lot is that when you see exactly the same element, that is your friend star. So we call it the friend star. 比肩 is the Chinese word for it. It represents element that is the same. And so of all the table, this will be the of all the tables, this will be the easiest table for you to refer to. So it's going to be super easy because that will be just an exact element. So whenever you see the same element, identical element anywhere in the chart, other than the day stamp, of course, then that would be the friend star. The friend star represents yourself. So the uniqueness of the friend star is that it is beyond. It is just beyond looking at just another representation. It actually represents your persona. It represents your self image. So it represents your self-image. It represents your persona. And so here, let's take a look into the function of a friend star. Well, in a way, the friend star will strengthen the day master. As you know, we count by the numbers, so the friend star supports each other. Now, there are two types of self star, of course. The other one is your rock wealth. Now, root wealth and friend stars are very similar in many aspects. Both of them represents your partners, they represent your colleagues, they represent your siblings. Therefore, rock wealth and friends are sometimes combined together. Combined together, they are known as your companion stars. And so sometimes when we say companion stars, we mean rock wealth and friends. In a way, you can say that rock wealth are friends that comes with a price. Rock wealth, in the long run, there is always something that you will lose to them. And while friends, on the other hand, will tend to benefit you always. So between rock wealth and friend, one would prefer to have friends as companion stars. Now, other than that, you may find that in many aspects, they function almost about the same. Very close. That means in terms of fans, in terms of popularity, in terms of supports and colleagues and siblings, they are all about the same. In a way, you can say that friend is somewhat like a same gender. So therefore, if you're a female, we read friend to be your sister, and of course, Rottweiler to mean your brother, like what vice versa as well. So therefore, that's where at the end of the day, sometimes you don't really distinguish between whether you have a brother or a sister. Well, you just have siblings. Now, the other thing also is that that's where we can see it strengthens the self. It also diminishes your place. So somewhat when you look into Rockwell and Friend, sometimes they behave as a new jargon, that we call it frenemies. Frenemies. So frenemies is a colloquial word today that we coined to indicate that they are both friends and enemies, as they both compete for the same. So of all the of all the 10 elements, would you like to take a guess which of these elements that don't really like friends or rock wealth at all? Of all the 5 elements, take a guess. Populate the chat. I want to hear your thoughts. How you can of all the elements, which one do not really welcome companion stars? Anyone? Pink fire. All right, metal. Good. All right, good answer actually. Good answer. Now, metal and metal tends to be argumentative. So when you find metal, so metal saying metal, normally that person tends to talk a lot and tends to be quite argumentative as a person. Correct. Kimte wood, excellent. Wood of all the elements, wood, because here wood competes with one another for scarce resource. The tallest tree gets the sunlight. So if you don't grow as tall as the tallest tree, then you'll be blocked. And so therefore, wood people tend to be more territorial. They tend to be more aware of their surroundings, the people around them. Therefore, that would be wood. So wood do not like to see another wood, in a way, especially rock wealth. Especially rock wealth, because rock wealth represents the parasitic tree that actually drains the nutrients from the same earth that they compete for. So therefore, wood people are more competitive. They don't favor friends or companions as much. Which of these 5 elements here, of 10 if you like, that are most conducive for companions, most amicable. Water, huh? Water. Yeah, that's right. Excellent. Because you can always add 2 glasses of water. The more water you add, the bigger the ocean. And therefore, water people welcome the camaraderie of companion stars. So therefore, water people are by less threatened, except for rainwater, except for the ocean, except for the rock wealth, because the rock wealth represents the cloud. And when it's cloudy and when it blocks out the sun, therefore it blocks out the ability to make money, and warmth from the sun itself. All right, so this brings us to a bit of to how each of these elements react towards their companion stars. How do they see friends, and how do they see Rockwell? Right, but more to that. So just come back to the to the part about what it means by diminishes the place. Diminishes the place also means it robs the day master of certain opportunities, especially those with rock wealth, especially male day masters with, because rock wealth also represents wife, and therefore males with rock wealth stars that are unfavorable when the time comes may also denote them losing their wife or their spouses to another. Therefore, that's what rock wealth may entail. Alright, so generally, between friends and rock wealth, one would gravitate towards friend. One would want to have a friend. And here, the self controls wealth, and therefore friends controls wealth indicates a partnership. So one of the manifestations of having a wealth star are people who are entrepreneurs, people who are very entrepreneurial, people who tends to work in groups. They form a club, they form a gang of brothers or sisters or a community. They like it that way. They move as a herd, in order to make money together. Therefore, we find many business people to be also those who have wealth stars. And when we look into friend, we also see that friend represents your self-image, represents your persona. So in that context, friends too represents people who are, if it is protruded to the sense, they are celebrities. They're celebrities because friends represents people. They represents your fan. They represent fans. People who admire you, people who follow you. Therefore, the more friends that you have, Rob Wealth, the more followers that you have. And in today's social media and in today's connected world, friends would then be those who assist you in gathering a group of followers or subscribers that would be very useful for you. And the thing is that as officers tend to control themselves, therefore a friend will be able to resist. So especially 7K, especially 7K, 7 killing, the ability to resist 7 killing, the ability to protect you from clashes. Therefore, it would mitigate or it will soften. Therefore, here having friends will be those who can solve your. Right, so the 4 functions of a friend style, that will be it. And also, in a way, self weakens. So it also weakens resource. All right, so here let's move along to look into the functions of friend and what do we mean when we see the friend star. So firstly, if you are referring to personal relationships, friend star immediately represents your siblings. Friend star represents siblings, mostly of the friend of the same gender, And there is There is a school of thought. Somebody came up with a literature that studied a bit more that friends, friends, especially in the absence of spouse stars, these friends may also represent same sex, uh, same sex uh, love relationships. Hmm. So in that case here, we do see that may also denote the tendency to prefer your own gender. Yes, it is. Huh? So therefore, that's where reading of the star comes in. But once again, do not jump the gun and automatically classify everyone who has a friend star to mean that they prefer their own gender. But it's just that we do see there is some tendencies and also some manifestation there itself as well. All right. So therefore, we can say that especially in the absence of that direct spouse star. So in the absence, then we see the tendency to prefer your own comes in to the point. Now, when you have a friend star, when you have friend stars, you have business partners, you have colleagues, you have a lot of shareholders. And so if the career pillar finds friend star, a friend structure, protruded to the stem, and then here one tendency is, or one advice is, if the person asks, should I do business? Yes. Yes, you can be in business. And you can be in a business where you leverage with a bigger team of people. Unlike 7K, who prefers to be self-employed, unlike direct resource that would find comfort being employed, friend should be in business. Because why? Because power is friendship. So power is not knowledge. You don't really need to equip yourself with knowledge. You don't really have to be educated. In fact, most friend stars are not highly educated people in a sense of academic background and so on. Power is not in strength or might or to be aggressive. Power is in friendship. Power is in connection. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And if you are able to lead a band of brothers, then you can form a formidable team. And therefore, that would be the strength and the outlook of a friend star. Power is friendship, power is connection. And that's how their view, their worldviews are shaped around this. All right, so in that case here, friend style means, yep, you can do business, you can be, you can attract shareholders, you can do fundraising, that would be it. Now, friend style for the body, friend style for the health reasons represents the element of having central control functions. Therefore, your hand, your foot, your bones, that would be how the reading goes as. And in terms of friend style, again, it is somewhat similar to what we call frenemy. It helps the day master, but it is not light. Whatever this will be where things like crutches, prosthetics, things or gym equipment are things that you can find that such elements are usually reluctantly accepted. Therefore, we have my friend star to be not favorable for all as well. Alright, so friend star represents the same element, so the same species. So in that case, it represents civic associations, dedicated specialized zones, interchange, and apps. And so for those who look into using Pachi as a form of divinity or a form of reading, and so when you find that you have friend, it actually means somewhat like an interchange, like like one that has the same uh, consortium or conference of people of the same like-minded. So that's what Friendstar represents. Okay, so now as we come on to what would be the key attributes of a friend, a friend star, when it is favorable, is persevering, determined, very confident. Basically, it is basically in a way you can say friend star. If it is unfavorable, it becomes full of yourself. Well, essentially, you have more than one of you. So obviously, there's a bit of a full of yourself, yeah, in a way. But once it is favorable, it is sincere, it is able to keep up with others, it believes in equality, and it demonstrates leadership by forming good connection, camaraderie, altruism. And so therefore, this is where a favorable friend structure will be able to lead a good team of people. So therefore, they make a good team leader. So they do have leadership qualities. That means their main strength is to be able to talk and inspire you because they resonate with you. Therefore, that's the friends resolution, the friend sense. But once it becomes unfavorable, the opposite tends to be correct, indicating that they become obstinate, they become stubborn. They do not tend to respect other people's opinion and they lack IQ. Again, full of themselves, egoistic, arrogant, aloof. It would be the opposite to the team leader, no doubt. And so when reading the friend, then it is about teamwork, it's about organization, it's about dealing with people. That's what the friend will actually represents. So so therefore, if you have friend element in your chart, the risk is either you are very likable or the opposite is true. So one or the other. But that is the team. That is what drives the friend element. So again, let's look into few charts. And normally as we look into the chart, first thing that we look for is the structure. We always look for the structure. So no doubt, no bonus marks for today's question. What is the structure of this person? So this was Eisenhower, which was a former US president. So for structure, we look into the month branch. And so here for the month branch, we'll see Wu Earth. And of course, the day master is Wu Earth. So the day master is Wu Earth. Day master is rooted. So it's rooted. As rooted, this is a Wu Earth day master born in autumn. And therefore is born in the depleted energy of autumn. So it is weak. It is a weak element. As it is a weak element, a friend star would then be favorable. And so we can find that the friend star would be favorable. And here, how many friend star do you see? How many friend star do you see? Hi, Diana. I don't think you didn't see one friend star. Four, so there are four friend stars, yeah? So we have four friend stars essentially throughout his life. So throughout his life, we can see that he has friend stars. And so this person is expected to work, is expected his life to be in connection with people, leading, inspiring, right? And working together with the four friend stars. So friend stars would there be to support him? Oh, Catherine, why not? Because this is day master. We don't consider this to be the day. This is the day master. So we don't, and anything we don't count this day master. Yeah. So in that case, there are four. All right. And so friend star can be, friend star denotes leadership. Friend star, if favorable, denote the capability of leading people. And then, of course, to have people loyal to the person. And so, working as a diplomat, working in where the person leads, the person get other people to do work for them. Connection, no? As it is. Therefore, that would be for Eisenhower. He has a friend structure and he has a friend element throughout his entire. And not only that, later we will come to know this is hidden and hidden in a growth. Hidden in the growth star. Hidden in the growth star. Hidden in the growth star. Therefore, that will be positive, huh? Because when it's hidden in the growth star, it tends to be positive. It manifests positive. The only concern that we have is when it's hidden in the two, that then brings the negative aspects of the element out. All right, there you go. So now we have one particular individual, which is the friend structure. So this is a friend structure. So Eisenhower has a friend structure that will be his core personality, and that personality is visibly throughout the entire life. So this will be quite auspicious for him. Right. Next, let's move along. We'll find that we now look into a celebrity. We look into a model. Looks into an actress, Lin Chilin. And here, when we look into friend, what do we find? She is a no, okay, no, that I don't mean. There are four graveyard animals. What are the four graveyard animals? The four graveyards are the four earth element. The graveyard of spring. Yes, that's right, Jenny. So you got dog, goat, ox, and dragon. These are the four graveyards. All of them are earth. All of them are earth. And all of them represents the last month of every season. So the last month of every season is an earth element and it's a graveyard and a tomb for the season, for the relevant season. Then what represents the four groves? The four groves represents the first month of each season. The first month of each season. What are they? What is the first month of autumn? Oh dear. Monkey. What's the first month of anyone? Oh, flying horse. Correct, correct. Also flying horse. Correct. Was first month of it. Snake. Then what do we have? Pig. Then what do you have? Tiger. Okay, so these are the four groups. This is four groups. All right. Okay. All right. Maybe it's just another chapter. Yeah, flying horse. Correct. Correct. These are also known as the. So flying horse, growth. Flying horse, anyway. All right. Okay. So as we move along, let's come to this lady here. Now, how do we identify friend for her? This is a Jia, Wood Day Master, born in winter. Wood is strong and is rooted, so she's a strong day master. And so we find that her friend resides here. The friend star resides here. equally strong and rooted. So once it's rooted means there'll be another Jia wood coming in, and also another one here coming in has. So therefore, Jia is rooted. This is her fasa. Therefore, this represents her fasa. So anything that is protruded to the stems represents things that is visible to the world. Represents, and fasa is the first impression. The first impression. And so fasa is what people's first impression of you. And having a friend on the fasa represents the first impression of your self-concept, of your self-image, of your self-concept. Also, it brings out the true nature for you. And if it is favorable, then it will bring the auspicious uh, luck for your career, for your image, for your image. So it represents something like your self-reputation, your branding. And for this lady, the wood is strong and would be favorable, especially in winter. In winter, wood is needed to break the cold heart of, to penetrate. And so having wood together would be useful. Would be very useful. All right, so this will be in the first part looking into the friend residing in the year stem. And now let's take a look into where else can friend resides, which makes it very good. Here we have Ellen DeGeneres, and this is not a Koi Water Day Master, born in winter, big and rooted. So we're rooted here and rooted here. So therefore there'll be two rooting, and no doubt you can now find friend to represent the month. So the month pillar represents your career. It represents your career. It represents your career. And water, of course, is peak, so therefore that's very strong. And when it represents your career, if when friend star represents your career and is penetrated and rooted onto the stem, and so what would be the best career for this lady? And so again, a career that results in connections, network, and having a strong group of followers. So you'll find that many of them, for those with Friendster, can either venture into business. If they venture into business, that will be useful where they can attract shareholders. They can be hedge fund managers going around trying to convince fellow investors to put money, raise capital, top layers to shareholders. That would be a good career, an auspicious career path for those with a friend on the month step. And if that is not the pathway, then the other would be entertainment. So entertainment and business are very similar. You are there to attract followers. One would be fellow investors and shareholders. The other would then be fans, fans and followers who would subscribe to you, follow you, and to attracted to your persona, attracted to your brand, attracted to your reputation. Therefore, that would be the pathway for those with either either has structure is different. So structure will be your true nature, where it's hidden, but this is now protruded onto the stems. So that'll be good. So let's find another which we can look into Elton John. So Elton John is another Water Day Master. which is rooted. Where can you find rooting? Rooting can be found here and surrounded by two friends left and right. But here, water born in spring is weekday master. So weekday master with friends surrounding them, this would be again having not just career, but also investments. Also your investments, also in your later passive income. So here we'll find that as a friend, with a friend step, with a friend month step in your career. So the theme is work with people and form a strong partnership bond with people that you can trust, people that can propel you to better to propel you to achieve your higher endeavors in life. So those with friends are very entrepreneurial, very inspiring, very well liked. So you have a likable face, or you are being liked. That would be very useful as well. Yes, Jenny. As we did mention just now, you will find that quite close that there is one sign. Not all of course, but that is the one sign that actually can see. And then what is the spouse of a Kueh water? What is the spouse star for a Kueh water male? What is the spouse star for a Kueh water male? The Kueh water male, the spouse is a pink fire. Do you see spouse here? No? Do you see? What I call the direct spouse? The direct spouse. Uh, pink fire. Do you see pink fire anywhere in this chart? So if you don't see pink fire in the chart, means no affinity to the direct spouse. No affinity. There's just a girlfriend here. Therefore, surrounded by water, rooted. Come. And therefore, this one is also where strong. Husband star is here, graveyard and late. Got some okay, but tendency is the water is very strong. Yes, yes. Okay, so yep. Jenny, that would be one way to see lah. One way to see. So if there's any question, then that can be the answer. All right. So here, let's look at it. We have a strong and favorable friend star. Strong and favorable friends. Now, once you are strong, why are you strong? Remember, you are strong because you are rooted. You are strong because you have resource to support you. That doesn't mean that you must always be weak all the time. That doesn't mean you have to be weak to look at it this way. Okay, so here we take a look into those with a strong and favorable friend star. Very nice. They have the ability to call upon. They have the privilege to call upon people to help them. Colleagues, business partner, friends, families will come in to be well connected and to help them. They're people who will add value. Okay? And again, these are not noblemen. These are not noblemen is your resources. Therefore, we're not referring to noblemen. Noblemen are sometimes, when you look into a nobleman, sometimes they have this element of superior to you. They are your mentor, they are your boss, they are somebody higher up that tends to grant you a favor because they like you and they give you the chance. So the moment seems to be closer to luck, closer to luck. But here we are not referring to that kind of noble people. These noble people are people who roll up their sleeves to work with you. This is where you work together as a team. They are your peers, so to speak. All right. So those with strong favorable wealth star, their strength lies in leveraging on networks. Their strength lies in connection. So I mean, if you want, and there's a lot of agency business. So therefore, for those who look for a career, then agency business would be very good. You want to be a real estate agent. You want to work with essentially to get a group of people together, like project management. Those are very very useful for you to venture. Now, if you have a weak but favorable star, now let's take a look into Elon Musk. He's a Wood Day Master that has a friend. So he also has a friend and rooted. So it's a friend that is rooted, but weak, weak. And if it's weak, this is wood born in summer. Wood born in summer. So wood born in the peak of summer will then find that the basically the wood is weak, and summer represents output. So in this context, it can be favorable. And therefore, once it is favorable, we do see that we do have friends in useful. Therefore, again, there will be friends in influential positions, associates, friends, network. Again, able to tap into the advantages of connections as well. And of course, if it is weak, it may tend to show. It may tend to show that the ability to win people over is a bit slower, rather than being instantly likable. Therefore, if the friend style is weak, there is no immediate attraction on the likability. So this person may be somewhat one that you will be slower to like. As it's right. Next, we look into strong but unfavorable. Strong but unfavorable. Now, yes, correct. That would be correct, huh? Because a friend would then be possibly a fu yin, huh? So a fu yin, well, essentially is a friend. Now, why is this negative now? The thing is, once it is unfavorable, the friend star is in the center of the day master. The friend star is at the center of it. And therefore, the moment the friend is unfavorable, the friend star has poor relationship with the mother and the father. Therefore, friend star has poor relationship with parents, resulting from sibling related issue. Well, if the child grew up thinking that the child has been disadvantaged, unprivileged, because parents have shown favoritism, prefer other siblings, that might create that resentment, might create that so-called so-called unpleasant feeling. Because why? Because here again, the friend is strong. So when friend is strong and unfavorable, it indicates that the siblings are stronger and they don't favor you. And so this is where a friend star weakens direct resource. A friend star may have relationship with the mother. And so this may also indicate that a friend star may come from a very poor family, malnourished when young. And so resulting from that lack of parental guidance, a lack of motherly support. Here we might see that the person grew up being misguided youth. A misguided youth that also becomes the father. And and so in a way, unfavorable star also means bad company. So it represents bad company, unfavorable personalities. And so the relationships are toxic, relationships are superficial, and the person tends to form a view that results in them not trusting a lot of people, then tend to fall upon Joseph. And so this would also be the reading for those with an unfavorable friends. And this may also result in them being stubborn, pig-headedness, and may also exhibit poor financial skills, tendency to take shortcuts in life, and talk more than they do. So talk more than they do, taking shortcuts, and being rash in their decisions can also be manifestation. So this is where sometimes we find that certain individuals can make rash, poor financial decisions, extremely stubborn and egoistic in order to pursue what the person wanted to do so. And so this may be a manifestation of strong but unfavorable friends. Okay, now what happens if the friend star is unfavorable and weak? And now here, it's very rare for a day master to be strong and the friend to be weak. It's very rare because you're the same element. If you are strong, chances are you are rooted. If you're rooted, so will the friend. And if you're strong, you're in the right season. So therefore will be the friend. So it is actually quite rare for this to happen. But somehow maybe the friend star may be sitting on a clash or death and emptiness. So sitting on death and emptiness or clash, then this is a case where the day master is strong, but the friend star is weak. So it's not common, but that can be the case. So when you see this, then now the opposite, the negative aspect of friends now comes in. So now this person is no longer a good team player, no longer inspiring, and therefore they tend to be a loner now. For they have to handle everything on their own. They then do not see the value of working with people, inspiring people, or collaborating with people. So once again, as we know, that is how Pachi is read. When you see there's a star, then that star represents a team. And once you see a team, the team, remember, there's always the right and the left. So if the team is, let's say, teamwork, then of course either you're a fantastic team player or exactly the other way. So be careful because sometimes when you are not careful, you will say you read this star and then you straight away think of the team say your team, and then immediately you describe the team. Then the person, your client, or those who are being read say, oh no, that's not true. In fact, what you just said is I'm exactly the opposite of that. Yeah. So don't run the risk of saying something that's exactly the opposite of what the person chooses. And that is only when the person is weak and unfavorable. Okay, so here the person is a loner, the person is not a team player, the person don't see the value of friends, and also the person is over competitive and surrounded by friends are surrounded by enemies. So therefore the person becomes very self-centered, selfish, and consider everything to be a zero-sum game. So zero-sum game mentality is one where in life, for every one winner, there is a loser because there's only one. So either I win or you win. So therefore, that kind of zero-sum game mentality tends to come in as well. Does it apply to destruction in the chart? Not necessary. Not necessary. Destruction. If it is in the natal chart, of course, it may destruction. No? Destruction is sometimes self-inflicted. Self-inflicted destruction, aka let's say addiction. Let's say addiction. No? Humans are very funny in a way. We have the tendency to self-destruct. You can find people having their lives destroyed because they are alcoholic, because they are drug addicts, because they are gamblers. Huh? And therefore, destruction normally means there is somewhat a manifestation of a self-inflicted kind of a destructive behavior that a person has, a habit that caused them to not. Huh? Here, it just means that they're competitive, that they view people as threats all the time, that they are territorial and they're jealous of they're jealous and protective of them. So no, it's a bit different from the element of destruction. Right. So therefore here, if the companion friends are weak, they finding valuable supporters will be very difficult, indicating that what they have are just trolls or haters. And so they are mostly disliked. So they normally see that they do not want to share their ideas so much because they only invite trolls and haters to them. And so because of that, they tend to clamp. Now, when I talk about seven killing, if you can remember, officer star, officer star is the only of all the five areas. Officer star is the only one where you do not want to see both, one or the other. You would prefer one or the other rather than both. Both means there is a confusion. And now here for your companion, you can see both. You can see both, but preferably you see more friend than Rockwell. But Rockwell can be good if it's favorable, but you rather not. And therefore here we come into the point, having friend style without Rockwell. So both are companion, both are fans, both are shareholders, both are colleagues. And so, but Rockwell is more aggressive. Rockwell tends to be, Rockwell enjoys the limelight. Rockwell enjoys being the life of the party. And therefore, Rockwell has a more aggressive leadership style, who is able to bring people together, a party animal. So Rockwell brings the party animal camaraderie into the team. So the absence of Rockwell is then the absence of this kind of behavior. And so a friend star is more personal. A friend star is not aggressive in forming that bond into the area. But the advantage of friend star is will appear to be more genuine. And therefore, friends means they are very happy to help you with nothing to expect in return. So having more friends that are favorable are people who will help you willingly, unconditionally. When you have root wealth, you have to watch your back because root wealth do help you to root wealth are fellow robbers to help you to rob. But then it comes with a price they expect to get their dues. Therefore, that would be what happens when you have a friend star without robbing. All right, let's move along. Let's come to now when we have hidden. So now we look into what happens when friend star is hidden. If it is hidden, it will be great if it is hidden in a growth star. Hidden in a growth star. Now where here we have Warren Buffett. There is a run day master, run water day master, strong rooted. Where do we now? I mean, basically, if you're rooted, you have friend. Full stop. Yeah? That's what rooting basically entails. And where do we find friend? The month and the hour. Excellent. And therefore, these are growth. These are the growths there. Therefore, Warren Buffett has a friend hidden. So once he's hidden, it's not visible. Therefore, he is not that inspiring team leader, fundraiser type of personality. In fact, he's quite reclusive because of his indirect resource fasa and his eating god. These two are very reclusive, quiet, introvert type of behavior. So Warren Buffett will be quite secretive and reclusive. He doesn't go around. He's not a party animal. He doesn't show off his wealth because he's not a rock wealth. So not really a rock wealth, and where it's hidden. So therefore, this would be the case where Warren Buffett behaves like that. In a way, yes, there's a degree of strength. Okay, correct. Huh? So if it's hidden in a sub, so because here, if it is here, it is actually your structure already. Huh? If it's here, it's actually your structure. And therefore has a sub G, it is minor. Yes. But but again, this is growth. So growth means over time. So growth means over time, especially when the season is right. So monkey is a season of autumn, and therefore Warren Buffett will see that the energy for gaining connections and friends and confidence to be something that is hidden. Right, so he uses his connection. So he has business partners, and the partnership tends to be a good bond, but it's hidden. So therefore, he prefers his partnership or hidden relationship to be in such a way. Now, what happens if it is hidden in two? If it is hidden in two, this person may have a lot of secrets and secret friends. Now, when we say hidden, that means none of them is protruded. Huh? The moment, that means here when we say hidden in tombs, we mean completely hidden in tombs. Like for the case of Warren Buffett, the friend is completely hidden under the growth star, which is then auspicious. Huh? But here we find that the friends. Now here, okay, one more thing you can see. You can also say that if the monkey, this is a monkey, sure. Monkey clash with what element? Monkey clash with? Right. Therefore, whenever there's a clash, clashes tends to release the chi, the sub chi as well. Therefore, when this clash can be favorable, give a favorable clash against the tiger, releasing the chi, that gives render the opportunity for partnerships of partnership deals that can come. Partnership deals or opportunity. Not so much on the 7K in a way. Why would you want to say they're 7K? Because he's born quite late in August. Is that what you mean? We only look into the time if it is not so much. Huh? We only look in the time if it is a graveyard But besides graveyard with the tomb and the access G, normally no. Normally, we will still say that the structure remains indirect resource. Right? Okay, so coming back, so if you have friend star completely and only hidden in the tombs, normally it means that this person has a lot of, not say a lot, but yeah, do have some secrets, and secrets with a group of people that are separated from his official external group of friends. And then these people have underlying connection with gangsters and unsavory personality, uh, who are able to get certain things done, which is not so direct. So therefore, there's a tendency to use sometimes alternate illegal pathways. Pathways. So this kind of people can, this kind of people that if they run into us, so if they run in, so friends with hidden tombs are people you can look for when you run into certain legal issues. When you get stuck in a foreign country and the immigration refuse to let you in because of your something wrong with the passports, and these people are able to, take care of things, yeah, as it is, because they have connections with people who knows people who do solve this kind of problems. All right, now what happens if you have no friend star at all? Zero, zilch, nada. You have zero friend. If you have zero friend, you are unrooted, because definitely, if you have to completely missing, you are unrooted. But not necessarily completely unrooted, because root wealth can also be a rooting. So you can still be rooted without without friend, but with a rock wealth, you can still have partial rooting. Therefore, that doesn't mean that you must be completely unrooted. But tendency is that you're not rooted, and therefore no affinity with any social structure. No affinity. So you don't have any affinity with working in teamwork, working in teams, working in inspiration. You experience life normally without any supporters, and it's very difficult to rally people behind your ideas. But having said that, of course, there are other elements, especially hurting officers, that can also denote supporters. So you can also get nobleman resource, you get rock wealth. So there are other elements that also bring supporters to you. But just that for a friend, you don't have genuine, true supporters that you can network with, no collaboration with. So if you don't have any friend star that is protruded to the stem or hidden in good, favorable, that means your life is not one that is, you don't have a life of fraternity. You don't have fraternity brothers, sorority sisters, or band of brothers, or sisterhood of so. That's not you. You are, well, generally a friend to everyone, or preferably you like to be alone, because in a way, if you are unrooted, you are basically quite a nomad itself, moving around. Therefore, that would be what happens when friend is in your chart. And of course, if you don't have any friend in your chart, that could also denote possibly the reading is that you're the only child, or you have no affinity with siblings. All right, now let's come to the last part for the day, as we now come to count once again. So earlier, as you asked, you can only count up to seven. Remember, you can only count up to seven. Why do you count up to seven? Because we don't count the day master. Yeah, day master, you are here, so there can only be seven other locations where the element comes in. As therefore, here, as you count to seventh, Usually, if again, I think if you followed the last two sessions, if you reach seventh, essentially your chart is a super vibrant chart. Super vibrant chart. And for the friend, for a friend, super vibrant, fame and fortune. Again, why? Because you are either an entertainer, a celebrity, or you are a business person, fundraiser, entrepreneur, investor. Therefore, that's where super vibrant will be the fame of fortune. Unlike direct resource, you become a monk, huh? You become a saint. All right, and here we would again prefer to have a few. One is always more than enough. We tend to say that more than enough, and two would be fine to support you to give you strength. And once you have three and four, then things becomes a bit too crowded. Essentially, it also means that you lack other elements, and chances are you will lack your useful gods to strengthen your day master as it is. And again, as usual, uh, need to always constantly remind you we just look this as a general guidance, no strict reading on this, huh? You don't read strictly. It is just meant to consider that when you count, if it is too crowded, normally means the absence of other elements that can be very useful. It then brings unfavorable element to you, because once it is too strong. That will be next week. Or maybe not next week. Next week I'm traveling, so I'll try to discuss with you later the next session where we talk about friend, huh? The luck pillar, and also in your natal chart, huh? And the rest. All right. So I think we'll just wrap it up here for the night, and we'll just the rest. Then we can continue this in the next session. Then.